This season keeps getting weirder and weirder. This is Catfish on Ice, episode 89. What are we watching tonight, Rich? We are watching a game between two teams who have depleted rosters due to the COVID protocols. It seems like it changes every hour leading up to this game. But they're playing. They're somehow playing hockey tonight. The Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche. Rich, how are you doing, man?
Doing good. It's crazy. This is the craziest hockey game I've ever seen.
It really is, man. I cannot believe they're playing this game. I really can't. But we are happy to be watching hockey, of course.
But I will say, I just saw on Twitter that the Colorado Avalanche took a team vote and decided they wanted to go ahead and play tonight. So
that's awesome. Interesting. I just saw that right before we went live. I found that very interesting. We're going to get into all this stuff here. That's actually going to be our opening face-off tonight is, should they have played this game? With everything going on, we'll get into it. This is, again, episode 89 of Catfish on Ice. We welcome everyone in. We appreciate you being with us. Let's let you know what we got in store for you as we are presented by DraftKings. We're watching the Nashville Predators and the Avalanche right now. Coming towards the end of the first period, the Nashville Predators have a 1-0 lead on the Avalanche thanks to a Philip Forsberg goal where he kind of, I want to say, took a page out of Matthias Ekholm's book where he kind of looked for a pinball-style goal. The goalie was screened, and he found the back of the net for his 12th goal of the season. That's where we stand. Yep. We're going to continuously react live to this game throughout episode 89. We will take you to the very end of this game to close out episode 89. And, of course, at the tail end of the episode, we have a really outstanding interview that you're going to want to stay tuned for with Joe Dubin, better known infamously as Big Joe on the go. If you are a Nashville native, you know who Big Joe is.
Yes.
And he joined us for some really good talk about how he got into the sports industry, how he what he's doing now with his current projects with Main Street Nashville, local independent newspaper. We had a really good conversation. Of course, we talked about some of the players he's covered in his history, including Preds players. Told some really good stories. We really cannot wait for you to catch that interview at the end of this episode that will be dropped on all podcast platforms. And we have a new segment, Rich. Rich, we have a new segment being debuted tonight.
Yes, we do.
It is going to be called our Clutch Performers of the Week. So it's really a take on your 3 stars of the game that you see in every hockey game. We're putting a spin-off on it. The 3 clutch performers of the week that just passed in Predators hockey. We are using the 4-game road trip from the previous week as our first edition of this.
Some good performances, definitely.
Yes, and this is all going to be prefaced on who stepped up in the big clutch moments. Absolutely. Not necessarily the player with the best stats, although that's a part of it. This is about who stepped up in those big moments to help carry the team to victory. And, of course, as we know, the Preds swept that 4-game road trip.
Yeah, and it was above our expectations. We were hoping for 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 was the ceiling for me.
Was the ceiling, yeah. I was kind of leaning to 2 of 4. 4 of 4 was
your expectations were even lower.
They were a little bit, just a little bit, but yeah, it was awesome. So,
and then of course it's Thursday, and we've got it up there on the screen for you right there. So we will do our battle for the Central Power Rankings as we always do.
Nope.
You're pointing the wrong way, Rich.
There it is.
Right. It's backwards. It's backwards when you're facing the camera, man.
You can't do it.
And we also got to make sure we don't mute ourselves tonight. All right, let's try for that.
I did it. Yeah.
We both did it. How did we both manage to do that in the same episode?
I don't know. I muted myself to cough and forgot to turn it back on.
So we can only go up from here.
Yep, absolutely.
Even all the way at episode 89, we can only go up from here.
Hey, man, everybody makes mistakes.
All right, so we are at the first intermission of Preds and Avs. perfect timing because our opening face-off tonight for episode 89 is should they be playing this game? Is it ruining the sanctity of the game, of the sport? Is this turning into a little bit of a fluke, dare I say a clown show in a way, that these two teams are going, their rosters are decimated. These are not, this isn't injury related. This is protocols. And we're not going to get into whether we agree with the protocols or not. We are not medical experts. We're not going to pretend to be. So we're going to leave that for the experts. We're not going to talk about whether we agree with the COVID protocols. That's not for us to decide. I'm going to preface that right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a crazy day all day checking Twitter to see what was going to happen. Like earlier today, I was like thinking there's no way that they're going to have this hockey game.
Me too.
I was just, they've postponed other games with the same amount of players out from the other teams. I know one of them was in Canada, and that makes it a little trickier because of the border crossing and whatnot. But I just didn't see how it was going to be possible. And then as the day wore on, it seemed like, I don't want to say it's unfair because they're all professionals, but like it was like the Preds with all their call-ups going against the fully rostered Avs team, and it was going to be ugly. But then, unfortunately, the Avalanche had some of the same issues come up, and like Cale Makar got pulled like at the last minute. No Darcy Kemper.
Those are two big ones right there last minute.
Yeah, the Predators' emergency backup goalie is actually on the bench for the Colorado Avalanche. So, just a crazy day all around. I'm glad we're not watching hockey, but it seems a little weird. But
so going to bed on Wednesday night, already knowing that there was some grim news coming, based off of the first national media person who really broke this was Frank Saravelli of Daily Faceoff. He sent out a very grim tweet saying, There's some news coming here. There's some rumblings coming that the Preds have a COVID outbreak waiting on confirmation. That was the basic tweet. And so we were walking on eggshells the entire day.
Yeah.
Waiting to see who those players were going to be. I thought for sure that meant no hockey for the Predators for at least a week. At least a week.
Yeah, and then we were also wondering, Matt Duchene hasn't played, and we were thinking he was maybe going to play
tonight either. But that's not due to COVID. Obviously, he's got that upper body injury that he's dealing with. So I will say this though: the tides really did turn quickly to the point where I actually think the Predators have the advantage when it's all said and done in tonight's game because they have more skaters available. They're also using a lot of players they called up who have NHL experience, including Rocco Grimaldi, Matthew Olivier, Cody Glass. We're talking about players who have NHL experience. So it's not like they're using a bunch of players who are new to this moment, And then also, so the Avalanche are down skaters. So stamina is really going to come into effect here down the stretch. You got to wonder if the Avs are going to get tired. The Avs don't have their starting goaltender, their top number one goaltender like the Preds do right now. Preds have UC Saros still. They still have Philip Forsberg. They still have a lot of their really strong, important core players, whereas the Avs are having to use, like you said, a backup goaltender from the AHL, and also down their best defenseman, Cale Makar. They do still have Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. That should not be overlooked.
Very powerful players, dangerous players.
The Preds actually came out, I think, with an advantage when it's all said and done. But you did say, Rich, and this was really interesting news that Elliot Friedman shared, the Avs had the option not to play this game, and they decided to play. I respect the hell out of the Avalanche for wanting to compete. I would not have blamed them one bit if they said we're not playing this game tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I will say one thing with the depleted lineups, we're probably not going to see a big, huge fight like we did last time or anything. Nobody can afford to lose anybody for 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, okay, so in that first period, one player that really stood out to me was Colton Sissons. He was all over the place. He was getting in shot lanes, passing lanes, blocking shots, and he looked like he took a really bad puck to the body, and he had to struggle his way to the bench. And I took a really deep breath when that happened, because that would be you want to talk about a tough blow.
Oh, yeah.
Losing Colton Sissons, because he's the type of player that's going to win you these types of grinded out games that you have to win, where nothing's going to come pretty, but he's going to do what it takes to protect UC Saros in net and preserve and keep this a relatively low-scoring game. You need a player like Colton Sissons in there. I really like that Colton Sissons was elevated to the top line for this game.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Love that.
That's good to see. Yeah. Definitely good to see him on the top line. I did the same thing as soon as I saw him like struggling a little bit. I was like, they're already playing 11 forwards. So, if they lost somebody, got hurt, man, it would be, bad, very bad.
Yeah.
I don't even know how another way to put it, but just not good.
So we got live game reaction coming for you right now for Preds and Avs. They somehow figured out a way to play this game, and the Preds are up 1-0 on a Philip Forsberg goal, assisted by Alex Carrier, who's also stood out to me in that first period. Alex Carrier was really making some really smart defensive plays. I thought the Preds played very strong team defense in that period for the most part. There was a moment where the Avs had a flurry. They had a 3-on-1 where Saros had to make a really, really good save. And then quickly after that, McKinnon got loose and nearly so that's the Avs. That's what they're going to have to do to win this game, is they're going to have their superstars carry them, which is Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. Yeah,
Nathan McKinnon had a really good look. Saros stuck with it. They were talking about it on the broadcast about McKinnon was trying to skate in and get Saros to go to the other side, but he didn't bite. So that was probably like the best save so far.
Yes,
I mean, that was a beautiful save.
Saros, we don't want to jinx him here. It's his first intermission, but Saros definitely looks locked in tonight, coming off his last start where he got a 1-0 shutout on the New York Rangers. So let's see. Preds go 1-for-1 on the penalty kill in that period, so that's impressive. 11-10 on shots on goal. Avs slightly lead that. Face-off percentage is even at 50-50. Hits are pretty even. Blocks are even. Preds do have 4 giveaways. Got to clean that up a little bit. But overall, pretty strong period. And the only difference maker is that Philip Forsberg figured out a way to get one of those pinball style, screen the goaltender, and just hope it goes in. So good job by Forsberg to get his 12th goal of the season. Let's get back to our opening faceoff here. We will talk more about this game when they get back underway in the second period here. We're carrying you all the way through this game here in episode 89. So we hope that you stick around with us. If you're watching the stream right now, don't be shy.
Yeah, just chime in.
Let us know how you feel. Tell us what you're seeing in the game. Give us your opinions. When we're talking about a certain topic, let us know how you feel. If you disagree with me, I want to know about it. You better tell me.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. Chime in.
All right.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's always fun.
We like talking to you guys.
Yes. All right, so let's get back to this opening face-off here. I don't think that this game should have been played. I think that it's more and more clear that you're going to have to, one, re-implement the taxi squads. You're going to have to. And I know that's tough to scramble on the fly here, but unfortunately, the NHL did not do a very good job of planning ahead when it came to an ever-changing virus. I'm not going to knock them too hard because you know what? This virus has really fooled everybody. No one knows what to expect. And so, but they clearly are going to have to go back to some sort of a system of what they had last season. There's no, because this is going to keep happening. This is going to keep happening, and there's only so many days in the calendar. And what are you going to do? Extend the season deep into the summer and disrupt the next season once again? You can't do that. It might. Real quick, let me finish my thought, and then we're going to go to you, Rich. But I really think that you're going to have to let the players who still are adamant about playing in the Olympics, you're going to have to let them do that. And then you're going to have to play throughout the Olympic break.
Yeah.
I don't see another way.
We've mentioned it already about the Olympics. Like, I was totally excited to see hockey back in the Olympics, and I'm a little bummed out that it's probably not going to happen, but I'd rather watch the season carry on. I know the NHL implemented some. Yeah, I know the NHL implemented some, put some new things in place to try to shield the players a little more. I noticed that the press conference, like after the practice this morning, was all Zoom calls instead of actually being at the rink. And I know they're telling the guys not to be around each other, much, and different things about, like, if they go out to dinner when they're on the road and stuff, like, I'm sure they probably won't even do that. But I know they're trying to curb it or whatever, but man, Nashville's feeling it. Colorado's feeling it. Boston, they're running 11 forwards tonight as well. Panthers are having problems. I mean,
it's sweeping the league right now. It's sweeping the league. Let's share Mike Twitter's comment here that I thought is a really good comment. He says, I get it, but taxi squads will really hurt the minor league teams, and I think it does hurt development taxi squad guys not playing regular games. Very good comment there, Mike. I totally agree with you on that one. That is a good perspective there. And from the rules right now, I mean, all of their biggest who are playing a big role in them on 5-game streak right now, that disrupts their season by having to do what the Preds have had to do here to call up these players.
Yeah. And I totally agree what he said about hurting development. Now that the story's out and everybody knows what Connor Ingram went through, he actually said that part of what, caused some of his issues was that isolation and being on that taxi squad and not, getting to play as much and stuff. So, yeah, it definitely hurts development, but, I don't know what else could be done. there's really,
there is nothing else you can do, unfortunately.
Options. I mean, that's pretty much what the Predators did tonight. They called up a taxi squad, pretty much. So,
they did.
It's kind of what you have to do.
Mean, and honestly, the Predators are kind of fortunate to have such a deep prospect pool, including players like Rocco Grimaldi, and who's not even a prospect anymore, but he's in there. And of course, Matthew Olivier, who I don't consider a prospect anymore either, but he got called up. So, you kind of look at it as, I guess, the Preds, if you got to say they're better equipped to deal with this, you got to say they are. And if this season keeps going this way, down this trend, the teams that make the playoffs might be the teams that have the best prospect pools.
You're right. If it keeps up. Yeah, that's a good point. That's definitely a good point.
Because, I mean, more and more teams are going to have to lean on calling up their AHL players who might be good enough to be on the NHL level, but the team is so deep that these players play in the AHL. I don't know. I mean, you've also got to think about this. You got to think that if some of these players are indeed positive, and it's not, because we don't know, and you've said this before, Rich, just because they're in protocols doesn't necessarily mean they're COVID positive. It could mean they came in close contact with someone who is positive, and so they are in the protocols because you got to keep it safe. We don't know that information, but you got to think if some players are positive now, well, hopefully they won't be positive for the rest of the season. So maybe you can kind of do a process of elimination here and get through it now. And then down the stretch of the season, hopefully the Preds are in the clear. They don't have another outbreak like this. I don't know.
Do you know? I meant to look it up earlier, but do you know how long they have to be out? Is it like 2 positive or 2 negatives in 48
I think if
hours or
they're,
something?
I'm pretty sure if they're vaccinated, they have to clear 2
Okay.
consecutive negative tests within like a 48-hour period or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's
Yeah.
somewhere along those lines.
Yeah.
They got to supply those negative tests to get back
Yeah.
in there.
Well, I know, and not to keep talking about the Boston Bruins, but I know their head coach, he was out with the COVID protocol, but he was out for like 10 days. So
Yeah.
he might have actually had COVID. I don't know. But I was just wondering, like, if these guys 2 or 3 days from now have the negative test, if they're good to come back. But not
Well,
sure about that.
we gotta go ahead and think that you're on a back-to-back here, and the Preds got to
Yeah.
turn around and play the Chicago Blackhawks on Friday night, and you got to think they're going to have to use this same lineup more than likely, unless maybe Matt Duchene's ready to go by tomorrow. We'll see, or Friday
Yeah.
night. But other than that, this is probably the
Yeah.
lineup they're going to have to use for both games. And you got to
Yeah.
hope and pray and keep your fingers crossed that more positive tests don't come out tomorrow to the point where, yes, the NHL has to undoubtedly postpone
Yeah.
the game. We don't know if the Blackhawks are going to have positive tests tomorrow. I mean, it feels like a bad repeat of last year where
It does.
every game is a roll of the dice to see if it's going to get played.
Yeah. I watched Chicago play last night. All their guys were in, but I don't know if anything's happened today or whatnot. But um, yeah, I think if there's any more from the Predators, if they come out, I don't see
They're
how
going to
they can
have
play.
to.
Yeah, I
They'll
don't see
have
how
to.
they can do it. Yeah.
Yep. So just craziness right now. We got the second period starting now between the Preds and the Colorado Avalanche. Preds lead 1-0. Tanner Jeannot is currently in the penalty box, carrying over to the second period. Pretty sure that power play is almost over. We'll see. But yeah, so this is going to be a battle of attrition here. This is going to be a battle of which team can minimize the mistakes from these players that are having to be thrown into the starting lineup unexpectedly. That's what's going to come down to. The big X factor here is the Predators have UC Soros in net, whereas the Avalanche
Yep.
do not have their top goaltender, Darcy Kemper. That's
Yep.
just – that changes everything.
Yeah.
This type of game.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, and I'm not going to attempt to say his name. I can't say it. I'm not sure what it is. It's FRANCOUZ.
Well, we've had a history of mispronouncing names on this podcast,
Yep.
so let's not.
Absolutely.
Let's not. I would venture to say it's Francois. I don't know if the Z is silent.
I heard Chris Mason
French.
say it earlier, but I don't know. Whatever. I think his first name's Pavel, so we'll just call him
Pavel. We'll call him Pavel for tonight.
Or we don't have to talk about
his
him at all.
limited AHL numbers looked good, so
Yeah. They showed his. I think he's only played like 4 games this season.
those are AHL games.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he hasn't played a game this season. His NHL career, he's played 36 games in his AHL. He is 31 years old, but he has actually not played a game this season in the NHL.
Oh.
So he's more of a journeyman type of goaltender, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
He actually has not started a game since 2019-2020 season.
Wow. I've heard of him before.
He actually started 31 games for the Avs in 2019-20 and amassed a 21-7 record. So there you go.
Wow.
So he's not chopped liver.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I didn't know anything about him. I've heard of him. I just didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know anything about him until they talked about him coming in tonight.
So while we watch along with our listeners here live for episode 89, we're going to go ahead and get into our next segment, which is a new segment that we're putting on the podcast tonight. We will do it throughout the season every Thursday. That is our clutch performers of the week. spinoff of the 3 stars of the game. Only we're highlighting the 3 players who came up big in the clutch moments.
Yes, and this is a good
are you ready
list.
for this, Rich? And Rich,
I'm ready. It's a good list.
Rich, you do not have to agree with this list. I want to hear your rebuttal to this. I want to hear you let me know if you don't agree with this list. All right.
I've seen the list. I might have an honorable mention. Yeah.
I like honorable mentions. Let me go ahead and get this thing rolling with our number. Mine, I should say mine, not our, because Rich did not play a role. But Rich did not. You did not play a role in the selection process here.
I did.
But our number 3 clutch performer of the week, going back to the 4-game road trip, is UC Saros. And before I start giving my reasoning about these picks, let's update our poll question that we put out regarding this exact topic. That is, we asked, who are your clutch performers of the week in our poll question? We gave the 3 choices here: Roman Josi, Yakov Trenin, UC Saros, or other. Let's update here. We're up to 80 votes now on the poll, and we've got, what do you know? Big surprise here. Not really. Sarcasm here. UC Saros leads the poll. 56% feel like UC Saros was the clutch performer of the week. He's a goaltender. He's pretty good.
That's who I voted for.
So and had a shutout for that matter. So yeah, that's a safe pick. 23% say it's Roman Josi, 19% Yakov Trenin, 3% say other. Let's get in. Max Greenberg here, who was on the podcast last episode, says, not going to lie, I'm kind of in doubt, but when in doubt, go Juice. He was sensational in the final 2 games, and the shutout was the cherry on top. Politeness is not a virtue, says Grimaldi. Revenge game. Okay.
Oh,
I'm not sure if politeness is not a virtue is saying Grimaldi was the clutch performer of the week. He might have been for the Admirals, but definitely not for the Preds.
No.
All right, so Rich, you just throw out a glass of orange juice. I'm guessing that means UC Saros.
That's juice.
Nikki Yeehaw on Twitter says Saros has been the difference most nights. Unreal play. And GP says Saros played in 2 of those games. Trenin by a mile. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I agree with that.
So we've got UC Saros at number 3. And my biggest thing is he made 63 of 65 saves in those 2 games he played in. The reason why I really have him as clutch is that Rangers game. That is shutting out the Rangers that is no easy feat.
No, they're really tough.
The Rangers are a really good team. The Rangers could very easily end up winning the Metropolitan Division when it's all said and done. They are a really good team.
Yeah, they made
the
a big
fact
turnaround.
that Saros shut them out on the end of that 4-game road trip is a really, really strong feat. And then the only reason I do not put UC Saros higher is he only played in 2 of those games. Not his fault, but still, he only started 2 of those games.
That is true. That's a good point. Yep, I agree with that.
I'm surprised that you agree with that, Rich, because I know you're a big UC Saros guy.
I am.
I'm surprised that you agree with UC Saros.
Well, you put it in perspective. It was only 2 games. He did get he did get a shutout. What's up, Robbie Stanley?
Oh wow. What's up, Robbie?
What's up, man?
Thank
you for joining us.
Wow. We've got someone pretty high up on the Preds total poll here. Robbie Stanley.
We do, sir.
He is on 102.5 The Game. He does mornings, Robbie and Rex Road, and I think that's the best morning show in Nashville. And I'm not just saying that because Robbie Stanley's in here. He really is awesome. I love his Preds coverage. I love all of his sports coverage. Everyone needs to go follow Robbie Stanley. Thanks for saying hi, Robbie. We love you, man. We're a big fan of your work.
What I appreciate about Robbie, when you listen to Robbie, is he will call it like it is. And if the Predators are not doing something right, he will absolutely voice that opinion.
And Robbie's also a Green Bay Packers fan. I grew up a Green Bay Packers fan before the Titans moved here. So fellow Green Bay Packer fan on the pod here.
Robbie says, checks in the mail.
Right?
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, we're kissing up to Robbie Stanley here. This sounds horrible.
Oh.
But all right, let's move on. Move on here. All right. So so we got UC Starhos at number 3. Hey, big moment in the game right now. Preds are got a little bit of a power play. I think they had a 5-on-3 for a little bit. They're trying to open up this lead here. I don't think even in a game where the Avs are depleted roster wise, this ain't going to be a repeat of the Rangers game. I see the Avs scoring at least a goal or two in this game. So it's really paramount here that the Preds build some insurance here. But the Avs, credit to the Avs. They're battling right now.
Yes, I agree. And if you look at the shots on goal, they're catching up. Predators are at 14 and the Avalanche have 12.
The Preds are they had some decent opportunities there on that power play, and they're settling in. They're trying to get that second goal desperately, but right now it's still 1-0. All right, let's go to our second clutch performer of the week, and that is the Yak Attack, Yakov Trenin.
Absolutely, he was going. This is what Mike Twitter.
Yak. One of the best nicknames ever, Yak Attack. Yakov Trenin, man, he is just his game just keeps growing. It keeps evolving. I love his passion, his energy, his just will to win, man. Like he is just always a fiery player. He fits the mold and identity of this team so perfectly. And the reason why I put him at number 2 for the clutch performers of the week is he got a game-winning goal this past week. He also added another goal to that list, so he scored 2 goals. He also was very physical all week, 13 shots on goal, so he was efficient in his offensive play, and he does it in very small amounts of ice time. He's not piling up the ice minutes right now. But when he's out there, he is effective.
Yeah, and if you look at the Islanders game, I know we've already talked about it, but he got in a fight with Trenin or with Chara.
He got in a fight with himself?
No. Oops.
Sorry,
Robbie Stanley's watching, man. I'm all rattled. No, I'm just kidding. He got in a fight with Chara, got all stitched up and came back out and scored a goal. So, there's no quitting that dude. He's a tough customer. I'd say he's probably one of the toughest Predators on the team right now.
Well, didn't we ask the question in another episode when Kyle Perkins was on with us one night where we said who would we rather get in a fight with, Tanner Jeannot or Yakov Trenin? And I threw y'all off by saying I'd rather get in a fight with Yakov Trenin because I think he would just end it instantly for me. He would just one shot and I'm out.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking.
I think Tanner Jeannot would punish me. He would he would kind of make it this long, drawn out thing where I can't get out of it. Yakov Trenin, short and sweet, gets me an uppercut. I'm lights out. I'm napping. It's over with.
Absolutely. I was actually thinking earlier that we probably won't ever see Yakov Trenin on the COVID protocol list because I don't think that virus is brave enough to live in his body.
That's a good point.
He's a tough customer, man. I like him a lot.
All right, so let's go. Let's get to our top clutch performer of the week.
Yes,
and it is the captain, Roman Josi. Save you the suspense there. First of all, it would be blasphemy if Roman Josi did not make the top 3 out of clutch performers. So you had to know he was going to be number 1, right? I mean, that was done. That was done, signed and sealed at that point. Roman Josi, 6 points over the road trip, 2 power play assists. He's always involved in the play. He's always leading the team on the ice. You can always count on him to step up in those moments when he has to. And that's even though he didn't register a point in the Rangers game, that was a very tight defensive game. Still 6 points on that road trip. There is no way I was keeping him off my clutch performers list. He's the captain. He's the one that steers ship. He's my inaugural top slot on the clutch performers of the week.
Yeah, he might have not got a point in the Rangers game, but his presence was definitely felt. So that was
it's always felt.
That was for sure. Yeah,
it's always felt.
Absolutely.
All right, Rich, we need your honorable mention here.
I'm gonna go with Tolvanen. If you count back, I know we talked 4 games, but if you count back to 5 games, he had a goal every night, 4 games straight. That's pretty clutch. And a few of them were tipping.
Yep. And so you know what?
Got to give him.
When I made my list, I initially had Tolvanen in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know who I moved out, or you know who I moved in to hit.
Trennan?
No.
Saros. Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I can't leave UC Saros off of the list. So I think Eeli Tolvanen is a fair submission if someone wants to put him in their top 3. And also, he is a great honorable mention. And on that note, the Preds have a 2-0 lead on a tic-tac-toe type of goal.
Oh my gosh, my favorite.
This is a perfect diagrammed goal. Forsberg to Sissons to Jeannot in the slot, and Jeannot bangs it home.
Justin Gambino, great passing, absolutely. Apparently, it happened a little while ago because Mike Twitter's like, "Did you get this goal yet?"
Sorry, we were kind of on a tangent there, Mike Twitter. We were on a tangent.
I just saw it,
but yes, we got this goal. That was some tic-tac-toe passing, diagram passing. That's like the stuff you run in drills in practice, and it just worked perfectly. And so there you have it. Philip Forsberg with a 2-point night now. He's got the first goal of the game, and he's got the secondary assist. Colton Sissons, who I already told you is really standing out in this game, has the primary, and Tanner Jeannot continues his really strong campaign with a goal.
There you go. Mike Twitter, the passing sequence on that was awesome. Yes, those are my favorite goals, is when it just works out perfectly, those tic-tac goals like that.
So I can already now, we're going to have to avoid the Colorado Avalanche Twitter because I can already see the excuses, the crying, and the this isn't fair. And we already prefaced it in the opening of the episode saying, yeah, we probably shouldn't be playing this game. But both teams are dealing with massive challenges to play this game. So I don't want to hear any of these excuses from Avs fans tonight. Don't want to hear it.
So they've got McKinnon and we've got Forsberg. So, I think it evens out pretty good.
Like I said, the biggest X factor is they lost Darcy Kemper. Going to argue on that. That is a really, really tough blow that I think tilts the advantage to the Preds' favor. Other than that, both teams are dealing with a ton of challenges due to these COVID protocols and outbreaks.
I agree 100%.
All right, so we are heading to the penalty box here. Alex Carrier takes the
cross check.
Looks like I'm thinking that's a cross check, most likely.
Yeah. Or no, is it? Maybe it's not.
Let's
what is
show
that?
some love to Carl. It might be interference. Let's show some love to Carl Taylor here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, he knows all these guys. He knows them all.
Well, that's the thing. I said, initially we thought it was going to be Dan Hanote, who is I mean, you want to talk about knocking it out of the park as an assistant coach right now, it's Dan Hanote.
Oh, yeah.
And so we thought he was going to be the acting coach tonight. And instead, he last minute got thrown into the COVID protocols on earlier today, along with Nick Cousins, who got thrown into the COVID protocols late. So that put Carl Taylor as the head coach. And you know what? This is kind of weird circumstances. This is totally weird circumstances here, but everyone initially wanted Carl Taylor to be the head coach.
They sure did.
Before John Hines was hired.
Well,
not to
there's
make
people that
jokes,
still want
not to make jokes here, not to make COVID jokes here, because COVID's a very serious thing. We're not making humor out of COVID-19 whatsoever.
No,
but it's just kind of crazy how we ended up here that Carl Taylor is the acting head coach for tonight.
Yeah. Mike Twitter wanted Terry Crisp on the bench tonight. That would have been interesting. How cool would that
have been?
Yeah. That would have been interesting. He would have just told him to go out there and hit him in the face.
Right.
I'd like to go back. I think I'm gonna go back sometime and check out some games where he played and just see what that was all about.
Oh, he was a rough style player. He was a totally rough style player. Yeah. And it looks like the Avalanche are on the board.
I don't like that.
Yeah, they set up a power play there, and when you put the Avalanche on the power play, it's going to burn you eventually. So that was some slick passing there for the Avalanche on the power play, and it looks like
there it is.
It was a wide open net.
Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen.
What did we say? We already said that the Avs still had their two superstars tonight, and that's Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon. And what do you know? Mikko Rantanen scores a goal. We can't put these guys on the power play. I'm telling you that will balance the scales quickly if you put these guys on the power play.
Mike Twitter with the thumbs down. Yep, I agree. Same. Rantanen's the one who dropped the hat trick on him last time.
Yeah, for real. All right, so this game is obviously far from over. We just passed the midway point of regulation, and it's a 2-1 Preds lead. All right, that is perfect timing. Let's get into our battle for the Central.
Oh, man.
Power rankings, they get tougher and tougher every week.
Yes, they do.
We are going to go ahead and say that these power rankings are based on before tonight's games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with number 8, and it is still breaking news. Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah.
We got to check out their week, though. Let's see their previous week here. Let's see if they have managed to at least get up off the mat and start battling. They just took a 3-2 loss tonight, or last night, I should say, to the New York Rangers. Hey, that's respectable to only lose by 1 to the Rangers.
Yep, I agree.
They lost 5-3 to the Flyers, and they lost 3-1 to the Florida Panthers. So yeah, this poor team can't score goals. That's their biggest problem. They just lack superstar talent, obviously. And up until what was it last week, they were behind on their bills. So yeah,
they finally got those paid. Yeah, they're shopping. How do you say his name? Jacob. How do you say his name? Do you know?
I'm aware of the player, but I don't follow him closely. Our guy Max Greenberg is big on him, though.
Chicker. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway, they're shopping
Max
him.
Greenberg.
Yeah, there's rumors that they're shopping him, so I think they just know that this season is going to probably be a wash. It's just ugly for them.
Oh, they've known that since before game 1.
Yeah, it's just not getting any better. Yeah, like at least with like Chicago, you can see a little bit of progression with them, but like Arizona, it's just not happening. So,
well, let's go ahead and slot Chicago Blackhawks at number 7. They are still in number 7.
I don't have them at number 7. No.
Oh, wow. Okay, throwing me a little bit of a curveball here. I love it. All right, well, I do. I still have the Blackhawks at number 7.
Yeah.
I just think that they are they're close. They're like right there. But they're definitely way better than the Coyotes. It's like the Coyotes and then the rest of the division.
Mm-hmm.
But the Blackhawks are still 7 for me because your top 6 teams in the division, you can't give me a solid argument that that the Blackhawks are better than any of those teams. But I want to hear your number 7 team, Rich. I want to hear this. This is going to be interesting for me.
It's the Dallas Stars.
Really?
Stars. Yeah, they're on a 4-game losing streak.
Is their losing streak reached that bad? Is it that bad now?
I mean, it's 4 games as of today. I don't know if they're playing tonight or not, but
I saw them. I saw them lose that Blues game on Tuesday, and that was a game that they were leading 1-0, and then the brakes just came off in the third period for them. Yeah,
Yep.
they are. The Dallas Stars are a hard team to figure out.
Mhm.
I got the Dallas Stars at number 6. I don't have them
Yeah.
worse than the Blackhawks though.
Well, I put Dallas there. You know, they're on that losing streak. They just put Hudobin on waivers. Ben Bishop had to retire. It's just there's I
Well,
think they're just in a bad way right
I
now.
got to admit, I was pretty surprised that Hudobin made it through waivers. I thought some goalie, desperate team would have snatched him up, but he cleared waivers and went down to their AHL squad. So that's kind of surprising.
That dude took them to the Stanley Cup Finals. They rode him the whole time they were in the bubble, and like he played did as good a job as anybody could have done in that situation, and he just and
that's why
lost the magic.
That's why I didn't understand the Stars offseason move of adding Braden Holtby. That made no sense to me. Of course, the really tough news with Ben Bishop, really just heartbreaking type of stuff.
Yeah. I watched his press conference, man. That is so hard to watch.
Yeah,
it's so tough to watch when those guys.
An outstanding career ended way too soon. You always hate when a player's career is ended and it's not ended on their terms. You know, it's one thing when a great player decides to retire on their own and walk away from it, but when it's kind of taken away from them and it's kind of unfortunately out of their control, that's just tough to watch. So the Stars, they're definitely far removed from their Stanley Cup appearance in the bubble.
Yes.
But I still got them at number 6. I do. I don't know what to think of them. They still have here's the thing about the Stars that you can't forget. This is why I don't put them at number 7. They still have a really strong penalty kill. They still have a really formidable defensive style team. They can beat some teams just purely based on almost like how the Preds play in a way. They can win those really ugly, dirty games. So I'm not ready to just throw them all the way back to number 7, but I do have them at number 6.
I might have punished them for letting Hudobin, putting him on waivers. I don't know.
So you definitely have to have the Blackhawks at number 6, right?
I do have all
right. I was getting ready to be really worried about you if you moved the Blackhawks higher than number 6.
No, Chicago beat the Capitals last night. You know that's not any easy feat. So maybe that's something for them to build on. That's what I wrote. I mean they're still struggling, and we'll see how they do if the game happens tomorrow night. We'll see how the Predators do against them. But I don't know. I put them at 6. Put them at 6.
All right, so as we continue with our Battle Power Rankings, again, this is episode 89 of Catfish on Ice with Chad Mitten and Rich Howe as we are live game reaction of the Predators and the Avalanche, a game that no one felt like was going to actually happen. Big breaking point in this game right now. Yakov Trinan goes to the penalty box for interference. The Avalanche are back on the power play. This is exactly what I said can't happen. Can't happen. But we are going to take a short 60-second break. We will be right back. We are going to take a quick break. We will be back with episode 89. Stay right with us as we are going to carry you all the way through this Preds Avs game. Come right back with us. All right, and we're back for episode 89 here of Catfish on Ice, brought to you by DraftKings. We are doing live game reaction of the Preds and the Avs. The Preds lead 2-1 right now. Very wacky game, of course, with all these roster depletions thanks to the COVID protocols. But it has been a very exciting game, I will say that. And we are happy to be watching some hockey tonight with you.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of our listeners for joining us on live stream on our YouTube channel. And, of course, we are presented by DraftKings. We love DraftKings. DraftKings is the best sports book out there. And if you are into the daily fantasy or, of course, the sports gambling, then you need to be on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And football fans, especially football fans, I'm sure that you love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game. But with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. It's that simple. New customers who bet just $1 can win $100 in free bets. Rich says it all the time. It's free money.
It is free money.
Everybody likes free money.
Yep.
You can play for huge cash prizes all season long with our promo code. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with promo code THPN this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager is required. One customer restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. And, of course, if the sportsbook is not available or if you just want to do the daily fantasy, that's a lot of fun as well. Go do that. You'll have a lot of fun.
I bet if you look hard enough on the app, you can bet on two guys throwing a frisbee in the backyard.
Oh, probably.
I bet they have that.
Sure.
You can bet on anything. Yeah.
Right. All right. So we are continuing through our battle for the Central Power Rankings here. We just did number 6. Let's recap. Me and Rich both have the Coyotes woefully at number 8. They'll probably never get out of there for the foreseeable future. Then we have we had a little bit of a split decision here.
Mm-hmm.
Rich threw me a curveball. I have the Chicago Blackhawks very dead set number 7. Rich, he threw the Dallas Stars in there. He kind of threw me off there.
Yep.
I've got the Stars at number 6. He's got the Blackhawks at number 6. The Preds, of course, are getting ready to see the Blackhawks on Friday night as part of a back-to-back. Maybe. We'll have to see if the Preds can get some players back. I don't know. I think the biggest hope is that we get Matt Duchene back.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, if not, it could definitely go sideways for him.
It could go sideways. I do really appreciate the hustle and the hard work that the Preds are showing us tonight so far, as we've got a little under 4 minutes remaining in the second period. They are really playing a hard-fought game tonight, and I really respect that out of them. It's become their norm for them, is they're always going to bring a really hard-fought game to the arena every night. That's what this team's mentality is, and that's why they're outperforming preseason expectations.
What was that? What just happened? I don't know.
All right, let's get to number 5. I'm going to get to number 5 here. I'm going to give you my number 5 team, and for me, it's definitely going to be the Winnipeg Jets.
That's who I have. There you go.
The Winnipeg Jets are a team I just keep waiting to finally show us something, and I'm starting to run out of patience with them. But I do know their roster is good enough to be a really dangerous team down the stretch. And so I'm just kind of waiting on it. I'm just waiting for them to finally wake up and do it. And eventually you got to think it's going to happen. They've got too much scoring talent on that roster to not eventually wake up. And boom. You know, when I say boom, that means someone scored. Mike Twitter says bang. I said boom.
Mike Twitter is like a minute up on us. And I'm behind all of you. I'm behind all of you.
Wow. Well, it's
Justin
a
Gambino,
2-on-1 development there, 2-on-1 breakaway, and Philip Forsberg just got his second goal of the game. What's funny about this goal is he was actually going for a pass, and it deflected off the defender. He was trying to find Tanner Janot, I believe. It looked like.
I'm seeing the replay.
So you see what I'm seeing, Rich?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's weird.
Forsberg was going for the pass. He was not trying to shoot that puck. And his pass got deflected off the defender, redirect, and went and totally faked out the Avs goaltender.
Right in the 5-hole. Which I don't like saying that. Do you like saying that? You ever say that?
It's strange. It's a little strange.
I know what it is, but it's just weird. But anyway.
It's a little strange. All right, so Forsberg has himself a 3-point night.
We're on hat trick watch. Awesome.
We are on hat trick watch for sure. Or maybe Gordie Howe hat trick. Do we want to see Forsberg get in a fight tonight?
I'll take that too.
No, I don't want to see that. No, I don't need to see Forsberg in any fights.
Yeah. So for Winnipeg, I wrote, so they beat up the Devils. They beat up the Leafs, and they pretty much beat the crap out of the Kraken. And then they lost. And I know Vancouver's playing better, but they lost to Vancouver after all those impressive wins.
We might have to put some respect on the name of the Vancouver Canucks. They got Bruce Boudreau in there, and he has completely changed around the outlook of that team's season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely I don't know. They've played really well. I'll give them that, but like Winnipeg was like rolling. So
how about this? The Preds are up to 26 shots on goal now.
I'll take it.
I don't roster depletion or not. They're missing Matt Duchene. They're missing Mikael Granlund. They're missing Ryan Johansson. It don't matter. The Preds are still putting up the shots on goal tonight.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, 26-14. Wow.
Which you can expect a low shot total for the Avs tonight. With everything they're dealing with, only 15 skaters available. You can understand why the Avs only have 14 shots on goal. That totally makes sense. But wow, the Preds, they are playing a very aggressive game. We're seeing here Forsberg has 14 points now in his last 11 games. Pretty efficient.
So we feel that if you take the forwards and the defensemen, they're pretty evenly matched, but our X factor is definitely Saros.
Oh, it's got to be.
Yeah.
Even though I will say that last goal is really bad luck.
There's nothing he can do about that.
I mean, that's such a quirky goal. I'm not trying to take anything away from Forsberg, but he was trying to make a pass, and it got deflected.
Yeah.
So
off his own
But
man.
either way, yes, that is the X factor that you can point to where the Preds are not losing UC Saros, whereas if Darcy Kemper is in this game, it's probably a very different looking game. It's probably, I don't know, maybe Kemper makes a couple more saves early on in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's move to number 4. My number 4 team is the St. Louis Blues.
So is mine. Look at there.
I did watch like I said, I watched that St. Louis Blues Stars game on Tuesday. That for some reason that game really sparked my interest since the Preds game was postponed against the Flames. I had to find something to watch. Yep. So that was kind of the game I really zeroed in on. I watched that entire game, and I'm telling you, I didn't think the Blues looked that impressive. I think they're good enough to be a playoff team, probably a wild card team, which is why I have them at number 4. I don't think they're nearly as good as what some people thought they were going to be. And if there's one team that I think can end up falling apart down the stretch, it's the Blues.
Yeah, I agree. I have them at 4th as well. And, it's always tough ranking basically the 2nd through the 4th, 5th, maybe. Not this week, really 5th, but yeah, I mean they could easily be up in the 3rd spot. They change spots all the time, so yeah, I haven't watched St. Louis at all. So
the Blues, their past 4 games, I will give them some credit though. They are really beating some teams decisively. I'll give them that. They beat the Stars 4-1. They lost 3-2 to the Ducks. They beat the Montreal Canadiens, who are just downright terrible. But they beat the Canadiens 4-1, and they beat the Red Wings 6-2. And even before that, they beat the Florida Panthers, who are not terrible. Nope. They beat the Florida Panthers 4-3. So I do got to give them some credit. The Blues are notching some pretty decisive wins, but I don't know. I think they're a wild card team at best.
Yeah. The only time I watch the Blues is when they're playing like the Predators or somebody else I like. Other than that, I'm not going to watch them.
No, they're definitely a hard team to get on board with and watch.
That's my personal. That's just
especially with Jordan Bennington. As long as they have Jordan Bennington,
I really feel that if they did not have him, I would probably be a little more all right with them.
No, I can't. Ever since the Blues won their ever since the Blues broke the Stanley Cup and they finally got the Stanley Cup, their fans have become so incredibly annoying that I just cannot take it. Like they are some of the most whiny fans that you will ever come across on social media. They think that they are the second coming of the Tampa Bay Lightning or any dynasty for that matter, classic NHL dynasty. Like I get when Chicago Blackhawks get all puffy with the chest because they have such a rich history. But these Blues fans have come out of the woodworks ever since winning that cup, and they're just like they're so intolerable. Can't take them.
I agree. Yeah, and I swear Bennington is the icing on the cake for me. I mean, they got rid of Pat Maroon, so that that helped a little bit, but I cannot get on board with that team. I'm sorry, I just cannot.
And then we'll never ever forgive the injury to Victor Arvidsson.
No, and that's another reason. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just we'll never forgive that.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, but 100%. we're being objective here, and we'll put the Blues.
That's just our opinions.
All right, let's move to number 3, and I've got the Preds holding steady at number 3.
So
I think the gap between 3 and the top 2 is still pretty wide. I think right now that's their ceiling. The Preds' ceiling is number 3. I don't see any scenario where it's going to be really hard for me to move the Preds into the top 2 ahead of the teams ahead of them right now.
Yeah.
Even this game I'm watching tonight against the Avs, I can't really put a lot of stock into it with all the roster depletion. I can't do it.
No, I can't either. So my notes.
To be positive, let me say real quick, to be positive about the Preds, to be positive though, because they are my number 3 team, they have this not give up mentality that's going to really serve them well if they can get into the playoffs. I mean, this is what upsets are made out of, is teams who refuse to quit, teams that annoy the other team, punch the other team in the mouth. That's how you get upsets in the playoffs. And I think this Preds team, if they can get in the playoffs, they are built to get a first-round upset this year.
Yep. Oh, I agree. Yeah, so on the notes I wrote so I did this earlier today before I found out that the Colorado Avalanche had anybody out. So I put 5-game winning streak. That's awesome. We'll take that any day. And then big test with players out with COVID. But now both teams have players out with COVID. So, but I agree with you. I think I put them at second at one time. I don't know why. I don't. It is what it is. But
so
I think
big thing about the Preds, their power. Big thing about the Preds, their power play continues to hold strong. They're I think they're in the top 10. Of course, they got UC Saros, which is like a cheat code, we always say. And here's another really interesting stat. The Preds are one of the most stingy teams in the league when it comes to giving up shots to the other team. So not only do they have what a lot of people think is at least a top 3 best goaltender in the league in UC Saros, but they also do a really good job of not giving up a lot of shots on goal to the other team. So that's going to go a long way for them to possibly get a first-round playoff win. It's going to go a long way. This team has not won a playoff series since the President's Cup trophy season after the Stanley Cup. 2017-18 was the last time they won a playoff series when they beat these Colorado Avalanche, when the Colorado Avalanche were still becoming the juggernaut that they are now. So it's been a while since we've seen playoff success from this team, but the way they're playing and this reputation, this mentality, I think they got a good chance if they keep playing this way and they keep developing chemistry.
Yeah. So you saw a real it was evident in the Rangers game. They really put the clamps on the Rangers. I mean, they did everything that they needed to do to avoid the Rangers getting anything. Like they really had a hard time doing anything. And that is exactly what their identity is, like you talked about, and that is what they do now. And that's, if they want any success, they just need to keep doing that, and they should be okay. Even against some tougher teams, like the Rangers, like we said, the Rangers are a tough team. If the Avalanche didn't have as many players out, this would have been a tough game as well. So,
and my narrative for the Preds is changing, and I will say, if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, my narrative of this team was they can't rise to the occasion against their really good teams. That was during the time when they got exposed by the Avalanche. They got exposed by the Vegas Golden Knights really badly. They got exposed by the Toronto Maple Leafs really bad. So I was starting to think the Edmonton Oilers exposed them really bad. So I was sitting here thinking, okay, the narrative around this team is they can't rise up against the really, really good teams. They can't rise up. They're starting to change that narrative slowly but surely by doing things like beating the Rangers, beating a very young and exciting Detroit Red Wings team. They're starting to notch some wins against some teams that are not pushovers.
Yep. And it's all through that. It's all through that defense and how they play. And they, like we read in online, they're playing for each other and they're not, team only. And that's
that was the article from Adam Vinian, I believe, of The Athletic.
Yep.
Who in the headline it said they're starting to play for each other.
Yep. And that's what you have to do. And I know they'll have these games where they don't do that, and we will be disappointed. But for the most part, they seem like they're on the right track, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yep. All right. I'm going to move on to my number 2 team. Rich, I think I might surprise you a little bit here. I've got a new number 1 team, and it's not the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota Wild are number 2. I've dethroned them.
So did I.
I'm not going off the standings here. If my rankings were just the standings, then this would be a pointless segment every week.
Yes.
The Minnesota Wild are still a really good team that I think is going to have a good chance to win this division. I'm not taking anything away from them. The Colorado Avalanche have officially arrived. They are here. We are not seeing the full complement of the Colorado Avalanche tonight. And to be fair, we're not seeing the full complement of players on the Preds either. But a fully strengthened Colorado Avalanche team, if this isn't the season they win a Stanley Cup, when is it going to happen? Because this Avs team is completely built to win a Stanley Cup this season. And they stumbled out of the gate. They dealt with a rash of injuries. Now they're dealing with this COVID stuff. That's bad luck, but a lot of teams are dealing with that right now, including the Predators. But assuming all things are normal and we go into the playoffs, it's going to be such a nightmare for any team to beat the Avalanche in a 7-game series.
Yep. Colorado, they're a 5-game win streak as well, like the Predators are right now. Yeah, man, they're tough. Like, I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Those guys.
I would have the Avs at number 1, even if the Preds win this game tonight. If they end up pulling this game out, I'm still keeping the Avs at number 1. I'm just not taking a lot of stock into this game. I appreciate their plan. I do think that the Preds are showing us that fight and that fortitude that they always have. But I just can't look at this game and be like, oh, this is a huge sign for the Preds maybe narrowing the gap with the Avalanche. I think that gap is still pretty wide between the Preds and the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, I agree. Well, if you look at the point standings, there's only 4 points separating 1 through 4 right now. So, Predators
Avalanche
win, they're going to be second. They might not be. Depends on the percentage, but
the Avalanche lead the division in goal differential. They're plus 27. The Minnesota Wild are right there behind them at plus 24. The Preds are only plus 6, which goes to show you the Preds are winning a lot of close games this year.
Yeah.
Other notes I have written down here for the Avalanche for why I put them at number 1. They are the highest scoring team in the NHL at 4.31 goals per game. Minnesota's second. So your top 2 teams in the division are also the top 2 scoring teams in the league. And the Avalanche also have the highest shots on goal per game in the league at 34 shots per game. They've only got 14 right now. But again, they have 15 skaters available. So lack of energy is a big reason why. But telling you, the Avalanche are going to be such a force to be reckoned with. I feel sorry for any team that's going to have to play them in the first round. Let's really hope that the Preds avoid the wild card and don't have to play the Avalanche in the first round.
Yeah, that game where Colorado played the Predators, that was just ugly. That was just that showed you the full force of what Colorado is capable of.
Every time I see the Avs on the schedule, I get instant nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And up until right before the game, when all of these players started trickling out that were on the COVID list, I really had nightmare fuel for this game tonight.
Yep.
It wasn't. I mean, it was super late into the day. Like we're talking a couple hours within puck drop that suddenly we start learning that the Avs have their own COVID protocol problems.
Yeah.
But it was shaping up initially that this game was going to be completely lopsided.
Yeah. Mike Twitter said props to them for going at it. Would have hated another night of no Preds. That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
even if the Predators were at full strength and Matt Duchene came back and nobody was off COVID and Colorado didn't have anybody, it would have been a very tough game for the Predators to win, I feel. So, yeah, I don't know.
But when both these teams are at full strength and you're not dealing with all these crazy COVID problems right now, I just think the gap is still pretty wide between the Avs and the Preds.
Yeah,
that's where I sit right now.
Yep. I agree.
So that is our battle for the Central Power Rankings for this week. We got the Avs both. We got a lot of agreement this week, Rich. We only disagreed on 6 and 7. So we've had weeks where we disagreed on every slot. This week we agreed on all of them except for one. Just goes to show you, man. We never discuss our rankings before the episode either, everyone. So
I usually wait till the day of to do mine, just to let everything kind of play out and see what's going on. But then who knew about the COVID stuff? So
I mean, it just changes every day. We never know. All right, so we are getting ready to see this third period here. Let's see if the Preds can close it out. They are up 3-1 in this game. Philip Forsberg has himself a 3-point night going, 2 goals and an assist. Let's get you some numbers here in the second intermission of how this game's going. Let's give you some numbers here. We've got 27-14 Preds leading shots on goal. Face-off circle. Avalanche is winning that department. Avalanche is 1 out of 3 on the power play. The Preds are also 1 out of 3 on the power play. We've got 12-8 on hits. Preds lead that. Preds are pretty good at always winning that department in hits. Block shots, pretty even, 10-8. Giveaways, Preds have 5. Avalanche only have 1. And in that last period, the Preds outshot the Avalanche 17-3.
That's crazy.
That is a big gap there.
A huge gap.
Let's look at some of these Preds stats here. Let's look at some players. Like we already told you that Forsberg has a 3-point night going. You've got Carrier with an assist. You've got Tanner Jeannot with a goal. That was Tanner Jeannot's 7th goal of the season as he tries to stay relevant in the Calder Trophy race, the rookie race. I don't think anyone's going to knock out the Red Wings rookies for the Calder Trophy, but it would be cool to see Tanner Jeannot stick around and keep boosting those rookie stats there. So he gets his 7th goal. Colton Sissons assisted on that goal there. And then, of course, the Forsberg goal goes down as unassisted as it was deflected on a goal where he looked like he was trying to make a pass. But we'll take him any way we can get them.
Take it anyway, definitely.
So the Preds have some insurance going for him right now, which I think they're going to need because I think the Avalanche got another goal up their sleeve in this game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to ramp up as soon as the third period starts. Definitely.
Let's talk about some of these players who got called up real quick today. First one I really want to talk about is Rocco Grimaldi. Who would have thought that he would eventually find his way back onto the Predators under these weird circumstances? But he finds his way back onto the Preds.
That's the only way. Yeah.
And let's give a lot of love to Grimaldi because he has really been taking it in stride down in Milwaukee. He is tearing it up. Did you see that spinorama goal that Grimaldi scored for the Admirals?
I absolutely did. Yeah.
Everyone, if you haven't seen it yet, go to the Milwaukee Admirals team page. You don't have to scroll that far. See this goal that Rocco Grimaldi scored. It was he used his speed that he likes to use, did a little spinorama type of a goal.
Yep.
Hey, I really respect Grimaldi for taking it in stride, and he's not going to wallow away or sulk because a lot of people feel like he's been mistreated and maybe he should be playing for another team somewhere in the NHL. But he is really, really taking it in stride and hopefully boosting his resume to eventually land on another team in the NHL.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, he's really playing very well in Milwaukee. It's good to see. I was hoping that he might get a goal or something tonight.
He's got one shot on goal so far. He's only played in 6 minutes of action, so his ice time's pretty low.
I think they said they were like switching him and
Cole Smith
out
on the fourth line. They're pretty much rotating on the fourth line because you don't have a full fourth line in the lineup because the Preds are also low on skaters tonight. Cody Glass, let's give some love to Cody Glass here. He's resurfaced. Of course, Cody Glass was always thought of being a regular in the lineup going into the season. He's got so much promise offensively. He's a power play specialist, that type of player. But the coaching staff made the decision very early on in the season that Cody Glass needed to go down to the AHL and develop his game more fine-tune his game. Carl Taylor, who is behind the bench tonight for the Preds, he has got such a knack for developing players for the Milwaukee Admirals. So we got to hope that Cody Glass continues to evolve his game down with the Admirals.
Yep.
Mike Twitter says deserving call-up for Rocco.
Yep.
I think we all pretty much assumed that Rocco Grimaldi would be one of the players called up.
Yeah, like the
once
first
we
one,
saw the news.
I would say. Yeah,
we had to wait a little bit. We had to wait a little bit to see who was going to be called up, but Rocco Grimaldi seemed like a shoo-in. But yeah, so Cody Glass, let's see his numbers tonight. Cody Glass has been really quiet. He does have one shot on goal. He has a hit tonight registered in a little over 10 minutes of action. He was considered the third line center tonight. So he was even though there's a lot of open roster positions tonight because so many players are out, including Mikael Granlund and Ryan Johansson. You're missing your top two centers tonight.
Right.
I mean, that's big holes to fill because the center position is kind of an important position. And you got to really have respect for how they're playing tonight. But Cody Glass, limited action, but yes, he's been out there. And then Matthew Olivier, Matthew Olivier is another player who's just the odd man out. There's just not room for him. It's not so much that he's a horrible player or that he's not deserving of it. It's just there's only so much room on the NHL level. And so he's also been playing back down in Milwaukee, but he gets a chance to come back up tonight. And let's see, Matthew Olivier, let's see his numbers here tonight so far. He has definitely been kept quiet, but he's got 1 shot on goal, 1 takeaway, and under 10 minutes of action. So all of your call-ups so far are getting lower amounts of ice time than you would see from more of your regulars in the lineup, as you would expect.
Yeah. Rocco had a really good look early in the first period. Good slot shot, but he whiffed on it. I was hoping he would nail that, but it is what it is. Yeah, I think it's a really good performance by these guys tonight, all things considered.
Aside from Philip Forsberg, who's the obvious choice, my star of the game, my player of the game so far has been Colton Sissons.
Oh, yeah. He's got 2 assists already. Yeah, definitely.
He's got 2 assists, and he's playing a big impact defensively tonight. So, which he always does. He always does. Mm-hmm. I always say that Colton Sissons is one of the unsung heroes of this team.
I agree.
Because he plays fourth line minute. He plays fourth line minutes. He's not going to score a lot of goals. He does a lot of things that don't necessarily show up in the box score unless you're really watching the game closely every night. It's really easy to lose Colton Sissons in the shuffle.
Yep. I think he's the new Calle Jarnkrok.
And what did I do? Let's go back down memory lane a little bit. Let's go back to the time leading up to the expansion draft. Do you remember, Rich, when I was saying how worried I was about losing Colton Sissons if they expose him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want him to go
worried.
Either. Yeah.
I was so worried that and I know you love your boy Calle Jarnkrok, and I did too. I know I knew that drove a stake into your heart, Rich. But I would have been way more crushed if we would have lost Colton Sissons over Calle Jarnkrok. And I kind of feel like that's been confirmed by how the season's gone.
Yeah, Calle Jarnkrok's struggling with Seattle. That's for sure. I mean, the whole team's struggling, but, I think he's only got 1 goal this season. I think he was in COVID protocol and stuff. So, yeah, Colton Sissons, man, he does a lot of stuff that doesn't show up. Like you said, he's definitely taken on that role, and it's really good to see.
But he's really making the most out of getting first-line center minutes tonight. I mean, Colton Sissons is the center of the top line tonight due to all these COVID problems, and he is stepping up. He is stepping up in a big way.
I'll take it.
All right, so the Preds have a power play here. This is where you can really put a nail in the coffin right here is go ahead and add yourself another power play goal. Let's put this thing to rest. If you get a 4-1 lead, then I feel pretty safe.
Yeah, I think so. Don't want to jinx it, though.
They're working the puck around. We know this Preds power play has really been rehabilitated this season. It's been a great thing to see.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times, even when the Preds don't score on the power play, they get plenty of ice time or they get plenty of zone time. They at least show that they're in sync with each other and they set something up.
They do.
And that's kind of what I'm seeing on this power play here, even though they still haven't really gotten any good shots yet. They're setting things up, and they're not wasting time.
Just get the puck to Forsberg.
Right. Just get it to or Tolvanen for that matter. I mean,
that too. Yeah.
Tolvanen's been a little quiet tonight.
Yeah. They're shutting the door on Forsberg.
Well, you can't blame him. I mean, the guy's got 3 points and he's on a hat trick watch.
Yep. Definitely.
Not to mention Forsberg is still not too far removed from a 4-goal game.
Absolutely. I'll take it. I'd like to see
you want to talk about contract year. You want to talk about contract year Forsberg. This guy is just
oh yeah.
He is really, really up in his value on the market. I mean, it's just
every time he scores a goal, David Poile sweats a little more.
I can't imagine I think David Poile's going to have to pay the man. I really think his hand's going to be forced.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I mean, how bad is that going to look if the Preds continue to keep winning and they keep surging up the standings and Forsberg's scoring all these goals and doing all these things, and then we trade him. I mean, that's going to be.
You thought it was bad when they got rid of Victor Arvidsson.
I got to think that behind the scenes right now, Poyle is scrambling to say, we got to work out a contract extension right now. Right now. Before the season ends, we got to work out a contract extension.
I would want it locked down before the.
That's got to be his top priority right now. It's got to be.
Yeah. Before the trade deadline. Yeah. I was just thinking about all the nastiness that went around when they got rid of Ellis and Arvidsson.
Well, once you get past the trade deadline, once you get past the trade deadline, if you keep your let's say we get past the trade deadline and they still don't have a contract extension for Forsberg, that's when you really enter some scary waters, because that means that Forsberg is going to have the free range to announce himself available, and then who knows what happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think you've got to work on a contract extension. You might have to overpay a little bit. It might be a risk, but I think at this point you have to pay him.
I agree 100%. And he's proven that he's worth it. I mean, he's playing really well. He has nights where he doesn't do anything, but I mean, they all do. So I agree. They need
we're
to
just all so petrified of long-term contracts, and rightfully so.
But now they're kind of looking not too bad.
And Forsberg, I'm telling you, Forsberg is going to expect a long-term contract.
No, yeah.
He has already proved it. You can't give Forsberg a prove-it deal. He has already proven it.
No.
He's already proven it. So now he has absolutely earned his right to have a long-term contract. And if the Preds don't give it to him, I think he'll decline. And he'll say, hey, I'll test my chances in the open market in the offseason. And it's not going to end well for the Preds.
It will definitely not end well, because I guarantee you somebody will want him.
Oh, for sure. I can see him going. I could totally see Forsberg going to a contender like the Golden Knights or the Maple Leafs or one of those teams. But I could see him going to Boston. I could see him going to one of those big market teams easily.
I agree 100%.
It would crush my heart if Forsberg ended up on the Vegas Golden Knights.
Oh, I couldn't take it.
It would be. I mean, I would love to see Forsberg win a cup. I have no ill will towards the player, obviously, towards the guy, but seeing him play for Vegas or Toronto, for that matter, either one of those teams.
I could handle Toronto more than I could Vegas. Definitely. And if he did go to Boston or something, I guess I'd probably be a little bit all right with that.
That would be convenient for you.
I'd like that. That'd be okay.
I'm sure you would.
I'd be all right. Oh man, he almost just got another one, or not? Jano almost tipped one in.
Reds are in the driver's seat right now. They're still up 3-1. We're under 13 minutes left to play. We're in it for the long haul here for you on Catfish Nice episode 89.
Our friend Max Greenberg is actually at the game tonight.
Yeah, he's had some bad luck lately with getting to games, because he was supposed to go to the Calgary Flames game. They got postponed. We've still got to figure out when those two games are going to be made up. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure some back-to-backs are coming our way this season. A lot more back-to-backs.
Not only was he supposed to go to the Flames game, he was in the Lexus Lounge. So that was a big deal. Yeah.
All right. So as we're kind of in a break here in the game, we're sticking around with you. Let's get into some other topics here. Let's tell everyone how the fantasy league's going. How about that?
Oh yeah, that's good. We can talk about that.
Which, I mean, you think fantasy hockey was hard before? It's really hard now, because now it's like you got to check your roster every day. But now with these everyday COVID protocol things, I mean, for instance, on my team, I've got Mikael Granlund. He's out. UC Saros was ill. He didn't have a COVID thing, but I missed out on him last week. I mean, it's making it really difficult to set your lineups right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go to the main page of the league. We still got he's been leading wire to wire on the season, but Matt Hardesty is still leading the league. He's crushing everybody.
I mean, it's just ugly. It's ugly how much
So
he's winning.
His team's got 3,259 points. The next highest team is like 500 points behind him.
Wow. Well, I know I'm not doing all that great.
Well, Rich, I was actually about to tell you that you have the worst luck in the league.
I do.
Because you've got like some of the most points in the league despite your record being so bad.
Yeah, I've only got 2 guys out with COVID, Carter Verhaeghe and Sebastian Aho. I've actually got a lot of guys playing tonight, but apparently they're not doing that great. So
I think that Lucas Spiza is pretty proud of my team right now.
Yeah, definitely.
He told me that he's very proud of me and he likes the way the team's coming together. I just want to make him proud. That's
Absolutely.
what my whole team is dedicated to him, and I just want to make him proud. I mean, I know you don't think he exists, Rich, but he does. He's actually a really good guy. He's a really solid guy.
Yeah, I know you have him. Is he live in your basement, or do you have him locked up in your basement?
No, he lives there. He enjoys it. Yeah, he leaves every now and then, but he's not trapped there. I would never do that. I'm not a monster.
Not a monster.
He stays there on his own free will.
There you go.
But let's see.
So you're going against who's Osei?
I'm going up against Max. That's Max Ritz. Yes.
Yeah.
So he's got me beat right now. He's beat me 157 to 108, but I still think I got a chance maybe to catch up to him.
Yeah.
You are winning. What's the score in your game right now?
Do what?
What's the score in your game right now?
Let me check. Can't get to the thing.
Gosh, come on, Rich. You're not prepared here.
112 to 86.
All right, there you go. And then we've got, of course, Kyle Perkins, who is on the podcast every Monday for Perks Picks. He's got his team, the Goon Squad, and he is beating Max Greenberg 135 to 88.
Yep.
And then our really good friend Lindsay. Where's Lindsay at tonight? We haven't heard from her tonight. I hope she's doing okay tonight.
She went to go see the new Spider-Man movie.
She ditched us for the Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
I can't blame her.
I
can't blame her for that.
Yeah, I think it's her significant other's birthday or something, and they went to see the Spider-Man movie.
That's fair. All right, well, Lindsay's winning her matchup against the Cowboys from Hell, who are the Detroit Lions of our league.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure there's any. Does he even set his stuff? Does he even look
He does. No, he's setting his team. I swear he does.
That's a bummer.
He just has really bad luck.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our Fantasy Hockey League. Of course, the winner is going to get a $50 Amazon gift card and some merchandise from Catfish on Ice.
Yep. And our friend Tyler in Canada, who won the puck and a $25 Amazon gift card, it made it up to Canada. I shipped it out, and I was tracking it every day to make sure it made it up there, and he got it.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
he went with the gift card, didn't he? The Amazon gift card.
He did. Yeah, he said that's fine. I wasn't sure.
I mean, an Amazon gift card is like having cash. So
absolutely, it is.
You can buy anything on Amazon. So
yeah, and I'm not sure what you can get for $25. Oh, they just
the Avalanche have narrowed the gap on a kind of it was another type of deflection goal, a redirect goal.
Yeah.
Both goaltenders have been the victim of bad luck on those tonight. So what did I tell you, Rich? I told you that I think the Avalanche have another goal up their sleeve. And what do you know? And there is still a lot of time left in this game for things to really fall apart here. The Preds really have to settle down here and get back some of this momentum because it's too close for comfort.
Yep.
3-2 game.
Fourth goal, like we were talking about.
Well,
yeah, that was a deflection, like you said. So
I got to go ahead and be objective here and say that I am really, really impressed by how hard the Avalanche have fought tonight, despite the deck being completely stacked against them.
I agree.
It goes to show you how good this team is, even when they're depleted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're still fighting. Predators just need to shut it out.
Let's look at the NHL scoreboard here. Let's see what other scores have happened tonight as we continue to watch this Preds-Avs game. Little over 9 minutes left in regulation, and as the Preds are trying to hold on. Let's see. We got the Minnesota Wild up 2-1 on the Sabres. Around 9 minutes left in the third period in that game. So the Minnesota Wild just keep figuring out ways to win. The Oilers are blasting the Blue Jackets 3-0.
Wow.
No surprise there, really. We've
Boston
got
Islanders beat the Bruins.
We've got
3-1.
Hurricanes beat the Red Wings 5-3. The Hurricanes were another team tonight who were really depleted COVID-wise. So they figure out a way to win. The Golden Knights beat the Devils 5-3. That's not a surprising score. The Kings beat the Panthers 4-1. The Panthers have been struggling a little bit lately after really starting off hot.
So
the Kings come out and get a big win. The Lightning narrowly beat the Senators, the lowly Senators. They're another team that's just horrendous. And then the Canadians beat the Flyers. One of the most disappointing teams in the league is the Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah. But the Canadians beat them 3-2 in a shootout. We've still got the Sharks and the Canucks to play later tonight. And also the Flames and the Maple Leafs game was postponed. The Flames have the worst COVID outbreak in the entire league right now.
They sure do.
They're going to be out of service for at least another week. Like, they are going to miss a significant amount of games.
The Canadians, their game tonight, there weren't any fans in the building.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere where Canadian teams are going to switch to 50% capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Yeah, that's crazy. That's definitely crazy. The Flames might not play for another week.
Yeah, I know. They're going to be out. And that's a shame because they were playing some of the hottest hockey in the league. You got to wonder how that's going to affect their the momentum that they had going this season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of games tonight.
Let's give some love to the Bridgestone Arena. They got voted.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
They got voted the best arena in the world or something like that.
Something about tickets. Yeah, the best in the world. Yeah, something like that. The tickets, some ticket place ranked it. Yeah.
Which the Bridgestone Arena has always been considered one of the best arenas in the world for a while now. Like, they've always had that reputation.
Oh,
which is pretty amazing considering the arena is like 25 years old now. It's not a brand new arena. But when you go to a game at Bridgestone Arena, you feel like it's a way newer arena than it really is.
Oh, it's so nice. It's one of my favorite places to go for anything. I haven't been to a concert there yet, but I definitely want to go check that out.
It's a really good place to see a concert. All right, so Bridgestone Arena just turned 25 this weekend.
That's crazy. Because it's everything inside. It looks brand new. Everything's top notch.
So I'm going to read this thread here from Bridgestone Arena's Twitter account that they shared today. They said, let's relive some of the best moments in Smashville. And they shared April 20th, 2012, the Preds defeat the Red Wings 2-1 in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The result advances Nashville to the semifinals and secures the team's first ever playoff series win in franchise history. And Rich, I know you weren't a fan of them yet.
Yep.
In 2012. But I remember that like it was yesterday. Just seeing because for the longest time, we felt like the Preds would never win a playoff series. We felt like it was the impossible feat. Like, just making the playoffs was cool enough. And so beating the Red Wings, which the Red Wings were like the first rival that we had because they were the big brother. They were in our division. They were the vaunted Detroit Red Wings. And to knock them out of the playoffs that year, to be the franchise's first ever playoff win, that was just amazing stuff.
I bet.
And then let's go to
power play.
Yep. Let's see. This is your chance here to once again. The Preds are only 1 out of 4 on the power play tonight. Like they gotta cash in here.
Glass got cross-checked and smacked in the space into the boards.
Let's look back to January of 2016. Nashville becomes the center of the hockey universe as Bridgestone Arena hosts the 2016 All-Star Weekend.
I bet that was crazy.
It was. All right, and there you have it. I just said the Preds got to cash in on the power play, and they do. And guess who it is? Our number 1 clutch performer of the week just scored a clutch goal.
Awesome.
Our captain, Roman Josi.
Still catching up.
Sorry, Rich.
That's all right. You're good. No, I want you to tell me. I want to know. Mike Twitter says,
oh, my gosh. It was so pretty.
You cannot leave him open like that. You cannot give him that much space.
That is such a pinpoint accurate goal. Laser. Yes. Just a laser. He shot that perfectly between the glove and the pad of the goaltender.
That is who was it that game where he had a similar goal like that where they left him open? I can't remember who they were playing. But it looked just like they was right in the slot.
I mean, that might have been the Devils game. I'm drawing a blank. I want to say it was the Devils game. But
oh my gosh.
I mean, that is such a perfect goal. So he skates into the slot to find that loose puck. And that's what makes Roman Josi such a dynamic defenseman, is how he knows how to rush the puck like that into the zone and find those loose pucks.
Justin Gambino says it was the Devils game. Yep. That's right.
That was the same game where Ellie Tolvanen had the blast.
Yep.
And then Roman Josi had the goal.
I feel a little better now.
I feel really good about the Roman Josi top clutch performer of the week after that goal.
He just proved it.
He just proved it again.
Yeah.
This guy, we're still not out of the woods here yet, though. I mean, it can easily still. You never count out the Avalanche when they have Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon. Never count them out.
Yep, definitely. Let's go ahead and get one more.
Bodies spilling all over the place in front of UC Saros in front of the net.
Yeah, things are going to probably start ramping up here in a second. They're going to start playing with a little more urgency.
Oh, for sure. Preds are up to 34 shots on goal. Avalanche now have 20. Ooh, Matthew Olivier takes a really nasty spill in front of the net.
Oh, wow.
All right, so you got to wonder. Now you really got to wonder how quick are the Avs going to pull their goalie down too. I could see them pulling their goalie around 3 minutes left.
Or before.
They won't be shy about it.
Before. No.
They won't be shy about it, I don't think.
Justin Gambino says the Devils really let Josi have some time. Yeah, he was like camped out. That was a really good shot. You just cannot leave him that open. And then he just proved it in this game. So,
so the Josi for Norris campaign continues.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say if he keeps this up, if he doesn't win it, it'll be a travesty.
Well, I mean, you can't take anything away from Adam Fox. Adam Fox is equally electric.
You're right. Oh, man.
And, of course, the other Norris caliber player is out tonight for the Avs, and that's Cal McCarr.
That's true.
So I'm sure Avs fans don't want to hear any talk about Norris trophies tonight with their Norris trophy caliber player out.
No. Come on, Juice. Oh, what a save. That was close.
All right, as we continue to watch this here, I want to continue on with this really good thread from Bridgestone Arena. So May 5th, 2016, the Preds play the longest game in franchise history. 111 minutes and 14 seconds of game time after game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals stretches into triple overtime against the San Jose Sharks. And Mike Fisher scored the game-winning goal at 1:03 a.m. Central Time.
That is insane.
I vividly remember watching that game with my good buddy who wasn't a big hockey fan. It was like one of his first games he had ever sat down and watched. Talk about a crazy first game to ever watch. And I remember I had to be up early to go to work that next morning or something like that. And I mean, we were like, is this game ever going to end? It was so intense. It was just so crazy.
Yep. I think we did I think we did a podcast one time after a West Coast game, and we were doing it like at 12:30 or something.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That was an early episode. Yeah. That was a really early
episode.
Was
really early. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I do too. Now I remember. Was that a playoff game?
I don't remember. Maybe it was. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look, but I do remember it was like we didn't get started till it was like quarter after 12, 12:30, something like that.
Yeah.
We're here for you,
then
folks.
Let's go to May 22nd, 2017. The Preds defeat the Anaheim Ducks in Game 6 of the Western Conference Final and advance to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in franchise history. I still get goosebumps thinking about that night. I was downtown. Awesome. I was downtown in Nashville, about 2 blocks away from Bridgestone Arena, watching that game at Fleet Street Pub, which is a British-style pub in Printers Alley. Highly recommend going to that. You'll feel like you're in an authentic English pub somewhere. It's underground, and we were all watching this game with a bunch of strangers. It was me and like 3 or 4 of my friends. We were hanging out, and when the Preds won, the entire bar, even people who weren't Preds fans, were just awesome. Cheering. Everyone was like tagging hands, complete strangers, and the bartender comes out, stands on the bar, says the owner is going to buy everyone a complimentary shot of Jameson to celebrate. And so everyone starts cheering. And then the bartender goes, "Are you kidding me? The owner would never do that. That's crazy." And we were all like, "What?" And then he was like, "Nah, I'm just kidding." And everyone took a shot of Jameson together to celebrate. It was pretty cool.
That's
people
cool.
were hugging each other. I know there's probably people out there who are laughing, thinking like, that's so sad that you got that excited about just winning.
Hey, man.
The Western Conference. But for us, that was such a big milestone.
That's definitely huge.
And yes, we hung a banner about it.
Hey, Western Conference.
So don't make any
champions.
jokes.
That's nothing to sneeze at. What'd you say? What's the name of that place you were at? What's it called?
It's called Fleet Street Pub.
Go check it out. There's a
Printers Alley is actually my favorite part of Nashville.
Is it? That's cool. When we were there, we went to what's that one section? The Gulch. Is that something?
Yeah, the Gulch is a little bit. The Gulch is nice. Yeah. I recommend the Gulch for people who are like, who want to. They don't want to necessarily hit the bar scene too heavy.
Yeah.
They just want to enjoy some good food and enjoy some decent music and stuff. The Gulch is a good place to go.
Yeah,
for that.
We went. There's a place there that is an English pub, but it's a big, huge restaurant. We went and ate there. It was good.
Remember what it's called?
I think it's called the Pub.
Corner Pub. Was it called Corner Pub? Maybe
I don't remember. But it's all British. Like everything's British inside. It was really cool. I don't remember what it's called though. Yeah. Time's winding down, boys.
Nashville's neighborhoods are really starting to blow up. I mean, there's so many different parts of Nashville that has its own charm, whether it's Germantown, East Nashville, the Gulch, Midtown, you've got 12 South, you've got so many different little sections of Nashville that go way past Broadway. As much as I love Broadway, it can be very overrated at times.
We don't even go there when we go down.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I worked on Broadway for 3 years, and it was about all I could take, and I was done with it.
Yep.
All right, Coach time.
I'm showing 4 minutes. What are you?
All right, all right, Rich. I'm only about 20 seconds ahead of you then.
Oh, okay. Mike Twitter apparently has got the direct feed into the Predators.
All right, so is Mike Twitter? So if Mike Twitter goes nuts, we'll know that the Preds won this game if he's that far ahead of us.
Yep. We'll know. That's awesome.
We appreciate everyone hanging out with us real quick before this game ends. We are presented by DraftKings. We're part of the Hockey Podcast Network. Thanks for watching on our YouTube channel tonight. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us out a ton, and we can't thank you enough for doing that. Also, if you're on social media, give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Catfish Ice. We would really appreciate your follow. We thank you for watching. And, of course, go download the podcast tomorrow, the full episode, because on the end of this episode, we've got it coming up next. We've got our awesome interview with Joe Dubin, Big Joe on the go of Main Street, Nashville. He's a Nashville sports media legend. He's an Emmy winner. He is hilarious. The dude is so funny.
Yeah.
And he told us he told us some really, really cool stories about his journey into covering sports, how he got into the industry, some good life lessons. Honestly, we talked some good life lessons. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. And we definitely got his opinions on the Preds as well. Asked him some of the athletes that he's interviewed and been around over his career, including some Preds players. I think you'll be surprised when you hear who his favorite Preds player of all time is.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
He asked us, and obviously the first thing I said was Pecorine.
Hey, don't blow it for him, Rich. We gotta keep the suspense up.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Forget what I just said.
You are not a pro at this, Rich. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I'm not.
But yes, you need to stick around because it's worth your time. We are carrying you all the way to the end of this Preds game here. 2 minutes left, and what do you know? The Avalanche have emptied their net.
There it is. Let's go ahead and get this
empty netter so that we can round out this live watch along here. Let's go ahead and do it, Preds. Let's settle it.
I would have thought they would have done that a little sooner. Being down 2.
Yeah. I guess they were banking on getting that one goal so that they didn't have to empty the net so early, but
yeah, we'll see.
So you know what's going to be added to this Bridgestone Arena thread? You know what date's going to be added?
What?
When the Preds play the Stars and they hang Pecorine's jersey in the rafters.
Oh, my gosh. I would like to go to that game.
Have you seen ticket prices for that game, Rich?
I have not.
The last time I checked, the cheapest tickets are like $200 in the nosebleeds.
Wow.
That's before ticket fees. That's like just the ticket itself. You know they tack on the fees at the end.
Yeah.
So you're looking at probably $250 per ticket to sit upper deck.
They had a game pack where you could get a ticket to that game and then like 2 other games, I guess. And it was pretty reasonable, but I'm sure that's long gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's also remind everyone again, we are presented by DraftKings. So get the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The offer we got for you going right now is in the NFL. All you got to do is bet $1, win $100 in free bets. If the team of your choice scores a point, you win $100 in free bets. So go do that with our sponsor, DraftKings. All right, we got 90 seconds left in this game. Let's bring it home, boys.
Yep.
Let's get our 6-game winning streak. Let's get a recorded NHL win for Carl Taylor. That'd be cool to have on his resume.
I think we know what this means. From Mike Twitter.
Oh. All right. I wasn't too far behind. Mike Twitter comes in with the bang, and I think the Preds just salted this one away. 5-2 now. Who got that empty netter there? Ekholm. Oh, didn't you just say Ekholm?
I was like, I wanted to see him get one. That's awesome.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, he's struggled, man. He's on the struggle bus.
What a weird, crazy, almost lucky empty net goal.
Wow.
He banged it off the boards.
That's awesome.
He banged it off the boards and it slapped back in.
Good for him.
But you'll take him any way you can get him when you're Matthias
Absolutely,
Ekholm right now, because it has been a struggle for him.
Absolutely.
All right, Rich. Yeah. Rich, how are you feeling right now coming out of this game now? The Preds are now
awesome.
6-game winning streak officially.
Hey, man, I'll take any win. I know it was tough on both teams, but I'll take anything, definitely. Hey, man, just keep it going. Hopefully they play tomorrow night in Chicago and can do the same thing tomorrow night. Maybe we'll get Duchesne back.
I'm thinking they're definitely going to probably have almost the same roster. You don't expect anyone who's in the COVID protocols to be ready to be back tomorrow night.
No.
I do hope the game gets played. I don't want to see any games postponed if they don't have to. Even though we both originally said to open the episode that we probably thought this game should happen, but they played it.
Yep.
I'm sure Avalanche fans are upset right now. I get it. But you know what? That's what the NHL decided, and the NHL is making a pretty stiff stance right now that they got to get these games played.
They do. Absolutely.
All right, so that's it. Reds win 5-2. They get their 18th win of the season. Congratulations to Carl Taylor.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
And the Milwaukee Admirals coaching staff that came up to coach this game. Big congrats to them. That is really cool. That is awesome. The players look so happy. We're seeing goalie hugs for UC Saros, which is always the best. Big congrats to those young players like Cody Glass and Cole Smith, who got to play in this game tonight. Awesome stuff. Happy for the team. They really showed a lot of fight. Phil Forsberg with a 3-point night, 2 goals and an assist. Roman Josi gets the big-time goal. We're seeing the sticks be raised at center ice to the fans. Awesome stuff. All right.
Yep. Love it.
We are going to let you go here on the live stream, but we've got Joe Dubin on the other side of the podcast to round out episode 89. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a long one, but we really love doing these watch-alongs with you. It's always a lot of fun. Again, the Preds win 5-2. Stay tuned. We got Big Joe coming up next with our interview to round out episode 89 of Catfish with Chad Minton and Rich Howe.